Guitar Business Radio is the podcast for the business of guitar, where you still get no reviews, no demos, and no idle chatter. For guitar players to guitar builders, CEOs to entrepreneurs, GBR is still for you. So now, let's welcome our distinguished host. Welcome to episode 83. I'm Jeffrey D. Brown, and as we move ahead with season 3, which we're calling Success and Inspiration in the Business of Guitar, I want to talk a little bit about it and ask a few relevant questions like, what is success? What is inspiration? And how do these things manifest in real life? And going forward and down the road, we'll delve deeper into these questions as they relate to you and others in the business of guitar. And I want to remind you that our definition of the business of guitar is broad. It includes all segments of the product and service channels, as well as artists who, all too often these days, are running their own careers as a business. And that absolutely qualifies. So, we're currently road mapping the next 8 to 10 episodes in this series, maybe more. And our goal is to bring on folks who have a story of success that will inspire us to achieve greater things for ourselves and our businesses or careers. And if you'd like more information about this, visit our website at guitarbusinessradio.com/participate or just contact us. So let's talk about this question, what is success? There is a simple answer out there, which is, it's different for everybody, and you'll know it when you see it. Okay, whatever. I'm admittedly a radical simplicity advocate in many areas, especially at the foundational level, but I want to take that framework just a bit further and add some dimension to it. Okay, let's take a shot at defining success through a variety of lenses. But first, I want to let you know that we have a special download available for you. It's free, and it's called 10 Definitions of Success in the Business of Guitar. It identifies these 10 different areas where you can focus on your particular success path, because as I said, success may look different for each of us. So this download will help you visualize each of those pathways that may be relevant to your endeavors. And at the end of the show, which is not that far away, I'm going to tell you how you can get it with just a couple of clicks. But in the meantime, I want to touch briefly on each of our 10 success paths, which are the definitions, so you kind of know where we're going. And going forward, you'll hear us refer to these with our upcoming guests, most of whom will share their own version of success, and I think you'll see some correlation at that point. So let's get started. So our first definition is financial success. And I think for many people, the word successful is often synonymous with revenue, profit, financial security, etc. And it's fairly easy to measure in each case, but from time to time you'll run into folks who say, I'm not in this for the money. I have a higher calling, whatever that may be. This is a legitimate response, especially for people who don't need the money and define success in other ways. But then there are those who make that statement as a hedge or distraction from their fear of success or lack of success. I guess the logic is, if I'm not successful financially, I'm covered. I'm not seen as a failure. And by the way, some of you may remember many episodes ago, and also in the Value Shot series that's currently available on the Guitar Business channel at guitar.business, little plug, that I talked about the time when I moved all of my so-called failure files into a new folder that was entitled Research and Development. Yeah, good old-fashioned R&D. I think that's a better way to look at it. What do you think? So our second definition is impact and influence. And this is extremely relevant in today's environment, and it really takes on many forms. I know we talk a lot about influencers through social media and other platforms, and that, in my view, is really a business model that has its own set of metrics that can be measured. But what I'm talking about is this idea of making a significant impact on the industry, or influencing the direction of music or product design, or inspiring others to achieve their own brand of success. for many who focus on this kind of success, it often brings with it a range of other successes as a result, including financial, a byproduct, if you will. But it's not always top of mind for most, and it's often seen as something that can only be achieved first through financial success. Although there's a case to be made that in some circumstances it takes that financial success to be able to impact and influence, what I'm saying is that it's not absolutely necessary. Now let's look at our third definition, creative fulfillment. Now, we can think of this as feeling personally and artistically satisfied with the work we've produced. And I can speak from experience here because, I consider myself a creative guy at heart. At the same time, I feel I'm blessed with sales and a variety of left brain skills, so a hybrid, I guess. And I think that creative fulfillment is the fire that fuels passion and keeps individuals pushing the boundaries of their craft. It's very motivating, but if we're solely focused on the creative energies, there are some risks involved. We may hit a creative wall from time to time. This can cause frustration and other more destructive feelings, especially if we depend on this work for our livelihood. And there's also times when we create stuff that we really like a lot and we're really happy with, and it feels great. I know what it feels like. It's great. Until we discover that we're the only ones that feel that way. I mean, that may be a bit of an exaggeration, but if you're a creative professional, you probably know what I mean. That realization can be a bit of a downer, which I know is a term that dates me, but, whatever. On the other hand, when we have a clear vision of the direction we're going in, which is a broader focus, and we've created the kind of balance in our lives that allows us to weather the ups and downs of a creative journey, the likelihood of finding success on this path is greatly enhanced. Now on to our next definition, which is growth and expansion. And I want to point out that this doesn't merely refer to financial gains. It encompasses things like the broadening of a brand's reach or the diversification of product offerings, entering new markets, reaching new audiences, etc. It's really a measure of success that signifies the adaptability of and forward-thinking nature of a business or artist. In other words, it's a bigger picture thing. And I believe that in many ways, growth and expansion can be a key factor in the financial success of our endeavors. So a focus on this area in terms of our broader thinking is a smart path to take. And I think I would just say at this point that you may see overlap in many of these definitions, but I would resist the temptation to say that any one of them is just a restatement of another. It's not. They all stand on their own, but they can integrate with and support other definitions. So let's move on to number 5, legacy and longevity. I believe this refers to the enduring influence and presence one has in the industry or a segment of it. And it's not just about fleeting fame or temporary success, but about creating something, be it a brand, a style, a teaching method, or a piece of music that really stands the test of time. Those who achieve this kind of success leave an indelible mark, inspiring generations to come. Their contributions become cornerstones, often setting standards or introducing pivotal turning points in our world of guitar. This is a big vision item, folks. It's not easy to focus on because, most of us have day-to-day issues that we're always dealing with. This is something that you really have to think about and wrap your head around and be clear about. It may change over time, but this is a destination. And those of you who've listened to me over the years know that I talk a lot about destinations. They are the bigger journeys. And when we move methodically in the direction of that destination and we stay focused on it as we pursue other activities that support it, the pieces of the puzzle that get us there generally fall into place one way or another. Let's take a quick break and we'll come right back. Now, as we look at these last 5 definitions, I want to pick up with number 6, which is customer-client satisfaction. This is kind of a narrower topic in many ways, but one of critical importance because without it, for most businesses or careers, success in many other areas is harder to achieve. And by the way, if you have a question about what's the difference between customer and client, not a lot fundamentally, but there are some differences, and I think I'll go into that at some other time, but I just want to cover all the bases here because some of us have customers and some of us have clients. So customer or client satisfaction in our business of guitar, it transcends the mere act of a purchase or a service rendered. It embodies the relationship built, the trust earned, and the value provided. And satisfied customers become brand ambassadors. They spread the word and hopefully return for more. And this is a universal concept, whether you're a guitar builder or a guitar player, a CEO or an entrepreneur in any segment of the business. Your customers buy your products or services. They attend performances or support your work in other ways. And your successful efforts to understand what makes them happy can pay off in many ways. Now, our seventh definition is a bit more personal. It's called work-life balance. And it's an often overlooked aspect of success. It's a lot about the equilibrium achieved between the passion-driven demands of the industry and the personal joys and responsibilities outside of it. A true work-life balance ensures that while we're committed to our professional aspirations, we don't miss out on personal growth, family time, or even more importantly, self-care. And I think most of us can recall a time in our career when our professional activities were derailed in one way or another as a result of something happening in our personal life. Often these things can't necessarily be avoided. I mean, stuff happens. But I do believe that if we have taken the time to proactively create that balance, whatever that looks like for each of us, that when unexpected events cause a disruption, we are much better prepared to handle it, personally and professionally. Our eighth definition is simply innovation. And it's not always about introducing something new. It's about pushing boundaries, challenging conventions, or reshaping the landscape of music, design, or business. And one thing I'm convinced of is that innovation drives evolution. And organizations and individuals as well that keep a focus on innovation, they tend to ensure longer-term survival and prosperity by continuously adapting to what is an ever-evolving business environment. This may help you to stay ahead of your competition by offering better or new and unprecedented products, services, solutions, content, and so much more. On the other hand, I've seen companies who have stagnated, gradually lost market share, or in some cases failed because innovation was just not on their radar. Sometimes they felt comfortable with the status quo, like don't fix it if it isn't broken. And this may work for a while until it doesn't. Sometimes companies and the people running them simply don't have the knowledge or skills to innovate, even if they wanted to. It's maybe not their strong suit. They may know how to make and sell their existing products or services, but when it comes to taking things to the next level, it's just not there. And in both of these situations, some kind of intervention or change in direction is probably needed. How and what is certainly a great topic for another time, so stay tuned on that. Now, definition number 9 is a little different. It's about recognition and awards. And this is something that can touch all of us in the business of guitar, as I have previously defined it. And these external validations of excellence, mastery of work, or other significant contributions, they can serve our business and professional interest in many ways, as well as providing motivation and satisfaction on a personal level. And there are tangible benefits and uses for recognition and awards in terms of market messaging and credibility, and I would encourage that. But I would also suggest caution. If the primary focus of any effort is to capture an award or designation of some kind, the emphasis should always be on the work, the accomplishments, contributions, or innovations that become the primary reason for such recognition or awards. Finally, we get to our 10th and final definition: personal growth and learning. And I think in large part, this speaks pretty much for itself, but I want to just mention a few things because this is less about external achievements and much more about internal enrichment. Those of us who prioritize personal growth ensure that we are not just adapting to the changing landscape, but also evolving with it, becoming better artists, craftsmen, or business people in many capacities with each passing day. Now, this concept of change, and that's what it is a huge topic. And I will have more to say about that in another time, but suffice to say right now, change, as we all would agree, I'm sure, is always happening. And it's happening faster and faster every day. Or so it seems anyway. Changes in technology, markets, products, methods, and so much more. We have to do our best to keep up. But we also must understand that we cannot keep up with everything. So it's important for us to be selective and prioritize our attention so we can achieve the best possible results for our business and personal life as well. Like I said, there's more to say on this for sure, and probably I will. So going forward in our Season 3 series, Success and Inspiration in the Business of Guitar, we're going to be using these 10 definitions as a backdrop for future episodes as we talk with folks in the business about their own journeys, what's worked, maybe what hasn't. But all of it is designed to provide knowledge and inspiration for the rest of us so that we can learn and grow from them. Now remember, I said we have a free download for you. Don't get too excited. It's called, appropriately, 10 Definitions of Success in the Business of Guitar. Who would have thought? It goes through each of the definitions I've talked a little bit about here, and also gives you a set of questions in each case that you can use to develop your thoughts and direction when it comes to creating your own pathway to success, as you define it. Now, the easy link to this download is available at guitarbusinessradio.com/downloads, and also on the official episode page in the show notes. Just go to episode 83. But if you need help with any of this, just reach out in any way you want, and we'll be there for you. Now remember, if you think you have a compelling and relevant story pertaining to one or more of the definitions of success, we'd love to hear about it and see if it's something that would be of benefit to our listeners. And you can pursue that further by visiting guitarbusinessradio.com/participate, or just click participate on the main menu of the website. So now, those familiar words that I use every day, and I hope that a few of you do as well. Stay positive, stay focused on the destination, but definitely keep all the options open on how you're going to get there. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time on episode 84.